Hello, my friends. We're going to continue discussing A Course in Miracles. And this is a little excerpt from chapter 30, The New Beginning. It is in paragraph 2. Look once again upon your enemy, the one you chose to hate instead of love, for thus was hatred born into the world, and thus the rule of fear established there. Now hear God speak to you through him who is his voice and yours as well, reminding you that it is not your will to hate and be a prisoner to fear, a slave to death, a little creature with a little life. Powerful words. As always, I can take almost any section, any small section, several sentences, a paragraph, and read it, and it seems that I get the entirety of the Course summed up right there. We are asked to look upon the person, the nation, the group, the political party, the neighbor, whoever we made an enemy of, in thought or in action. The one we chose to hate. Remember, we chose to hate. It's a thought. Just a thought that we chose to believe. We invested in it. Most of these thoughts we inherited. Most of the hatreds that we have, we've come by through epigenetics, passed down generation upon generation. This, as it says here, for thus was hatred born into the world. That was how we came to live in the world that is ruled by division, by separation, and by fear. All of those things are a byproduct of fear, and fear itself is a byproduct of guilt. That we have placed a harsh judgment upon ourselves. We've been told from birth, our parents are told from birth, and so on and so on and so on, that they were born into a world of sin, not realizing that it is a sin of their creation, and that our originality is sinless, guiltless. But we don't know, so we continue on. But now, we do know. Of course, we've always had that message from the Bible. We've had that message through Krishna, through Buddha. Every great philosophical and religious figure speaking of truth has urged us to turn within, to examine the mind, to see how our thoughts, our perceptions are creating the world, and to perceive otherwise. It really is that simple. Easy? Not at first, because we're talking about a complete reversal of how we think. Now hear God speak to you through him who is your voice, his voice, and yours as well. And of course, miracles, that is the voice of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit came into creation the moment that we believed our separation from God. As soon as we believed it, the cosmology of A Course in Miracles tells us that we are perfect union, oneness, one, non-duality, one without another, one without two, or even the possibility of two, one within the mind of God. And yet within that mind crept a tiny mad idea in which we remembered not to laugh. And the idea was that we could somehow be separate, independent, miniature creators of a universe of our own. And in that instant, we could call it the Big Bang, there was the creation of this world, of the universe. However, we are still dreaming in the mind of God. That we are literally dreaming this world into existence, which means there is another world that we can see, superimposed on this one, seamless. And all we have to do is wake up to it, and we do that through forgiveness. We do that through recognizing the ever-present presence of love. And we do that through listening to the Holy Spirit. A good friend of mine asked, how do we, is it possible, or even likely, that we would be able to forgive horrendous acts against us or those that we loved? And I thought about it. I wanted to give a true and honest answer. I didn't want to be dismissive and say, well, of course we can forgive. All of us can forgive. We just need to be bigger than the situation itself. That's not how we forgive. We don't. We can't forgive something horrendous. Our ego will cling to that with our very last breath. However, the intermediary, that voice, which is God's voice shared with us, our voice shared with God, the Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Buddha consciousness, is ever present and speaks to us. That is what we turn our forgiveness towards. We say, this is too big for me. It's too big for me. But it's not too big for God. It's not too big to love. So we turn it over to love, synonymous with God. Your will, God, not mine. Because mine right now is of the ego. However, when I learn to turn my will over to God, knowing that it's one, my true will isn't the ego is an illusion. My true will is the will of God, and that is to always love, to always heal, to always forgive. When I'm acting upon that will, I see another world. I see the world of love, the only world that actually truly exists. So, now hear God speak to you through him who is his voice and yours as well, reminding you that it is not your will to hate and be a prisoner to fear, a slave to death, a little creature with a little life. When we don't practice forgiveness, we are a prisoner to hate, prisoner to fear, a slave to death. More so, we are a little creature with a little life. And that is an illusion. We are living an illusion, and we can wake up from it right now. Course says that in every moment we can choose the crucifixion, in which we are crucifying others as well as ourselves, or really we could say we're crucifying ourselves and projecting that upon others, or we could choose the resurrection, in which we give ourselves as well as others the opportunity for rebirth right now, every moment. And there's only one moment, and that is here, and that is now. So that is it for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Take care.